Alright, Diablo players, let's go over Season 10's PTR's best Druid build right now, which can do literally infinite damage with some sort of bugged interaction with specifically the Wild Rage. But let's go ahead and go over the new powers, as that is another source of pretty good DPS. But just as a heads up, this build will still be very strong even without the bugged interaction, and I'll be dropping a build guide also for a non-bugged version of the build, which is just an aspect swap. But basically, this is going to be the new Ravens build for Season 10. It also uses one of the brand new uniques that I want to go over first because, well, that's the point of playing the new build, is to use the new stuff, right? So these are going to be called the Kilt of Blackwings. Remember, these are chaos unique, so they can drop in any of the stats in terms of, like, it could be pants, it could be chest. So just put them on the build, but ideally the boots would be the golden spot. And what it does for the unique power is that Ravens will do 125x increased damage, and then you have this ability if you shapeshift into a different form, or if you activate a companion skill, it will summon a raven that attacks nearby enemies, and summoning a raven has a chance for it to call forth unkindness, which will then increase the number of summoned ravens to 3 for the duration. So basically, it's a big multiplier on ravens. And then ideally you want to have it greater affix, and then also have the masterworking on plus ravens. You don't really need the cooldown reduction. You're going to get a lot of cooldown in the build already, but essentially you want the plus to ravens. The double damage is basically going to be acquired through your two-handed, but you can technically get it there as well. Just as long as you get 100% in total for the Raven's damage, that's one of the newer things. And then as far as the powers go, they call them perks, but it's the same thing for Season 10. This is, just as a heads up, this is going to be a Pit 150. Look, we just one-shot the boss. And also want to show you guys the build on specifically the brand new Infernal Hordes as well for the gameplay. But as far as the powers go, for our unique power, we play Savagery. The builder doesn't have this implemented in it yet, so we got to use the screenshots. So basically, our companions are considered core skills now, so that's going to be important, and we just get a multiplier on summons damage. We also play Wild Transformation, so when you transform into werewolf, werebear, or human, you just get extra damage or damage reduction. It's basically free. There's nothing that you need to monitor with this. And then Purge the Infected makes it so the core skill, which it converts our skill into a core skill, it does the damage as poison without any lucky hit interaction. What this does is it costs even more spirit, but it doesn't matter because you will have infinite. It will spend additional 5 spirit and it'll guarantee a crit. So this means you need 0 crit in the build to achieve 100% crit. Although on the first attack, technically it has to proc the poison, then it will then rotate on it. So just keep that in mind, but the ravens, they kind of swirl around anyway, so it's going to hit a lot of targets. And then we have Power Siphon, which makes it so our core skills deal 100x increased damage, which is crazy. It's like literally an infinite Cax rune, but it reduces your maximum resource. Now, you'll see I have 0 resource, but I also have infinite because Menorach Ring is still goated. It is still one of the top tier items in the game. So that's how we have infinite resource. So let's start off with the build in terms of the skills and kind of how we use them. So as far as the skills go, we play Earth and Bulwark. This really helps out with Fortify as well as just keeping us alive. Plus, when we activate a defensive skill, it will give us a bonus in damage. It also gives us unstoppable and damage reduction. It's just really good to make the build not feel squishy, because that's a huge issue with this build. Whether you want to play the infinite damage or non-infinite one, you need good survivability on this build because it has a lot of uniques. And then we play Ravens over here. So Ravens, well, that's arc damage. We just activate it, it does damage. And then Bloodhowl we activate to get extra bonuses, basically attack speed and extra damage. And then Cyclone Armor is just there because it gives us extra free passive of non-physical damage reduction. And then Debilitating Roar, you can activate this whenever you want, but it's just another damage multiplier and damage reduction. And then Cataclysm is essentially how we get all of our infinite resources, as well as our source of vulnerability, in addition to the Seb rune, which gives us extra companions, those extra additional wolves. But the wolves don't really deal DPS. It's just there as also a form of crowd control, but Cataclysm is great. And then as far as the Spirit Boons go, we run Wariness on Deer for extra damage reduction. We get extra attack speed and crit on Eagle. And then we have Calamity here for extra duration of the ultimate. Now, I built this to try to min-max on cooldown reduction as much as possible. You may not need this and you can play any other ones. As long as you have infinite ultimate, the build is up online. So just as a heads up, you don't need everything to be perfect in this build. There is areas where you can definitely remove. As you can see, my cooldown right here is maybe like 3 or 4 times as much as in terms of what's necessary. But this way, every average player can achieve this if you just put the point into this. And then also this has a chance to reduce the cooldown. It's really unnecessary, but I just put the slots in. If you have all of your cooldown met so you can infinitely Cataclysm, then feel free to swap things, because it's key that Cataclysm is up 100% of the time, as this build will go into negative resources. It has 0, but it will be infinite also because of Cataclysm and the Menorchic Ring. Now, as far as the gear goes, I'm going to repeat this. You do not need Greater Affix with Triple Masterwork Harlequin. Heck, you can get away with just running the Harlequin. You can see my cooldown is like literally 4 times as much in terms of what's necessary. However, I just put this in here because you can actually move around certain things, but ideally, if you do need the cooldown, then if you get really bad rolls in other spots, it's okay. So just keep in mind, as long as you get 100% cooldown on Cataclysm, swap your things in and out to get either more DPS, more survivability, whatever you need. Then we have Shroud of False Death. It's just really too good on the Druid. And then we run the Stormcrow's Aspect, which makes Ravens also do lightning damage, and that is quite good. And enemies inside are also stunned, so they're affected by a crowd control. You want to get all into the core skills here. And then we run, this is kind of where it gets interesting. So the build is actually kind of squishy without Tacitus of the Dawning Sky, but Tacitus of the Dawning Sky is excellent for the build as it grants us movement speed. That's a key area where like you wouldn't expect it to be really good because of that, but it really makes the build feel much better. You can also run on the amulet like Digitate Gate, which also gives you extra mobility, but I really liked having Tacitus of the Dawning Sky. Also, when you do your Blood Howl, it'll convert you into a wolf, so it kind of helps out. But I really like Tacitus. You can also run, if you want to, run the Tyrael's Armor. That's another option, but you need like big resistances. You can get regular pair of pants if you want to too. You could probably throw in some other unique here, but I really liked this. This actually made it so much smoother in terms of the build. Now the boots are missing, but the boots are technically the kilt of Blackwings, which kilt are normally a pants, but again, the Chaos Uniques can roll other places. If you want to swap this as a pants and then run something else, whatever, go for it. But basically, Tacitus surprisingly was actually pretty dang good. And then we have the aspect of the Wild Rage. So this is what's causing the bug, by the way. But what you want to try to get is the Ravens to deal double damage at 100%. Whether you get that in total on your boots or in combination with your weapon, just get Ravens to deal double damage. And then we run the Shepherd's Aspect, so our companion skills deal extra damage for more companions. Call of the Wild would be the best thing you can get, but the normal things on Druid, like, Envenom, all that stuff. Willpower, and then also Ring of Starless Skies, core skills again, Menorchic Ring. This is what keeps us up for infinite resource, because while Cataclysm is active, we gain unlimited spirit. So that's how we have infinite resource in the build. And then I already kind of mentioned, if you want to read some of the stuff, you can feel free to read it. But Igni says what we run, and then Nagu and Zek is what we run. And then you may want to throw in skulls to cap out on armor here, unless your Harlequin has Master working on it. That's how we're going to armor cap. So far, you can put 2 skulls and then a diamond, and that will round off your build. But Tacitus really helps out too with that. Now, as far as the powers, we kind of already went over that. These were the powers. So it's Power Siphon, Wild Transformation, Purge the Infected, as well as Savagery. That's what they look like. And then for the skill tree, let's go over that real quick. So the first 2 points really don't matter. Then we put in extra damage, more spirit. You just have to get it to progress. And then maxing out the Earthen Bulwark, getting some extra damage. You can get points into these if you want to, but as far as this goes over here, you can get extra attack speed over there, and then you can also get damage. It's up to you. And then you can get companion damage. We get all the human stuff, because most of the time you're going to be in humans, because that's what is casted when you actually use your ravens. You get the extra raven targets. You can get this extra thing to immobilize. This doesn't really matter too much. But Endless Tempest, this is an absolute must. That's really important. Then, just like every build, Envenom is like the best. This one has like the smallest multiplier, but if you want to get more damage and remove some survivability, you can get like 2% damage. This one's pretty good because you always have your ultimate up, and then Cataclysm automatically applies that vulnerability, and it's really, really good. And obviously, it's a companion build, so we run one with nature. And then as far as the Paragon board goes, we run Earth and Sky at the start. Let me make this a little bigger. So we run Earth and Sky at the start over here, and this is for nature magic. Remember, it gets converted into lightning, which then converts it into a nature skill. And then we have Sinister Tendrils, so damage against poison enemies. So Nature Magic does increase damage against poison, but we always poison, again, with powers, so that's how we get it, and then we get additional crit damage. This whole build is heavy on the crit. It doesn't matter the order, by the way, in the Paragon board, but in the next one, we get Keeper over here, so non-physical damage, as well as Thunderstruck, so Storm skills, because it converts into a Storm. And then we have Wilds, so casting Companion skills, 20x, so it takes a second to ramp up, but once you get it there, it's going to be good to go. Also, if you are trying to do high tier pits, remember that in the very beginning, it's going to need to start to ramp up. This is very evident when you start out in the pit. It takes like 10 seconds, and then you start doing 99999. Well, it's -9 infinite damage, right? But we also have Fulminate over here, so this is the lightning over here, and then we also run Heightened Malice, which while the enemy's poison, you get multiplier, but again, the power will automatically apply that, which is called Purge the Infected over here, so really great stuff. But I also want to mention that I will be dropping a non-bugged variant of the build, and honestly, you will one-shot all of the brand new stuff, including the brand new Super Ultra Mega Bartok boss with the non-bugged variant of the build. But if you're wondering which one is better, obviously the bugged one is better. Expected to get nerfed, but I had a lot of people request me to make the build guide, so I'm going to go drop it for you guys. Plus, I love just seeing just cool stuff in the PTR. So yeah, if you want to one-shot anything, this is in the current game state the best build without a doubt. I don't know if we have any other bugged builds in Season 10 at the moment, but if there are, let me know down below and I'll drop a guide for them because I like having fun. But again, even if this build gets nerfed, guys, it may be one of the top tier Druid builds for the new content. I've already tested it. You can one-shot everything in World Tier 4. Now, can you one-shot everything in Pit 150 with the non-bugged one? No, that's not going to be available. But anyways, I'll have the planner pinned down below, and have some fun with the build, guys. It's really fun. Basically, you just spam Raven. That's all you need to do. Another thing is, do not, and I repeat, do not equip any other companion skills, because how the Wild Rage works is it randomly rolls one of your, like, it doesn't actually say the correct thing over here, but basically there is a chance where it summons like ravens when you use like it randomizes them. So basically you don't want that. Also, you want a polearm because overpower is not something that we do in this build. But that's the build, guys. Have some fun. It is an absolute blast to play, and more than likely expect to see some nerfs. But even with the nerfs, I want to say that it'll still be a pretty solid build. Again, even without the bug, I removed the aspect completely and the Wild Rage, and I just threw on I think it was one of the companion ones. You could still, again, I'll drop that gameplay, and then you guys can see the build is still very viable even without the nerfs. It's just the numbers, they don't say the same numbers, but you still one-shot everything. In, again, Tormented 4, in the brand new Infernal Hordes, even against the Bartok boss. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like. If you're new here, subscribe, turn that bell, as I expect to see something change with this build in terms of you running the Wild Rage, but even without it, again, don't worry, it's still going to be a very solid build in the next upcoming season for the Ravens Druid. But planner will be pinned down below or link in the bio. Anyways, peace out, gamers. Have some fun.